Hi, it's Pam from your Nurse Advocate Consulting. Welcome to Tuesday Tips, where we share practical, real-world advice to help you care for the aging loved ones with confidence as well as peace of mind. And that's what we're all about. So today we're talking about a topic that impacts nearly every family, and that's falls. Did you know that 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 will fall this year? But the good news is that most falls are preventable with just a few simple changes at home and just in awareness. Sometimes the strategies, seem pretty, um, I guess, kind of a no-brainer, or they seem very clear. But sometimes we just have to take a minute to kind of consider them and say, "Oh, I didn't realize that." So please check in on our seniors as we talk through these fall hazards. So let's dive in. We're going to talk about 5 hazards for seniors and how you can fix them. So hazard 1 is cluttered walkways, loose rugs. The first big thing is clutter. And sometimes our aging loved ones um, don't like to use the word hoarder because that's a whole nother illness. But what we can say sometimes is our seniors have collected so much stuff over the years, and they feel that a lot of it has a personal attachment, and so they don't like to get rid of it. And sometimes it gets serious because there's barely a path to be able to walk from one end of the home to the other. So we've got lots of resources. If you look at our YouTube channel and put in decluttering, or that we have several videos that we've talked with experts that share ways to delicately work with your aging loved ones on how to declutter and how to deal with mementos, how to preserve certain memories, and being able to get rid of still the stuff. So if that's an issue for you and your loved one, please look that up, and I will make sure that in the replay of this, when we post this video on our YouTube channel, I'll put those resources in the video description as well. So the first risk is clutter: shoes, bags, cords, especially loose rugs. Another one is if you have an aging loved one that's on oxygen. And I just want to say, Mavis, thanks for the big thumbs up. I appreciate your support as always. And especially if you have an aging loved one that has uses oxygen, that is a huge thing, because most of the time they have an oxygen tubing connected to their concentrator that is long enough for them to get through the whole house. So what happens is you've got this coiled up long tubing that they get their feet tangled in while they're walking with their walker, and that can be a disaster. So there are many strategies that you can use. A lot of times just getting them in the habit of coiling it up and putting it in their hand as they're walking with their walker. Otherwise, sometimes we put a Velcro strap on there. Physical therapy has great strategies to help work with aging adults with tripping and fall hazards. So if they've been falling recently more than once in a 6-month period, maybe ask the doctor. Maybe they need to see a physical therapist. They can evaluate their walking, they can evaluate their balance, and they can make wonderful recommendations on how to prevent falls. So throw rugs is a big thing. I did a quick video earlier, a reel, so you might see that somewhere either on Facebook or Instagram. But we just walk through the house, and we don't have carpet in our house, so we do have a lot of throw rugs, and sometimes I've slid on them, and so those are a big hazard. So one of the things you could do is remove them, but I will tell you that not every aging adult wants their throw rugs moved. And sometimes they will dig in and they will say, I'm not getting rid of my throw rugs. Well, then we have to look at a plan B. Can we use some double-sided tape to secure them to the floor? Can we put a rubber mat underneath them? Those are some of the things how we can maybe fix that. So use non-slip mats, if rugs are needed, especially like maybe in front of the kitchen sink where they're doing dishes. Walk through their home, walk through your home, with a loved one, and see what's in their way. See it, walk a mile in their shoes, so to speak, and see what is in their way. And sometimes we don't notice, because we consider normal clutter, but until we go in with the mindset, okay, I'm looking for areas that could cause a fall, That is what we'd like to look at. So hazard number two would be poor lighting. And again, on my little video today, walk through the house, we've got several little night lights. We've got them in the hall. We've got them in two of our bathrooms. And dim or uneven lighting can make it hard to spot hazards, especially at night. And I know many aging adults, as they get older, they get up once or twice during the night to have to use the bathroom. And that's just a part of aging for most people. And why it matters is many falls happen on the way to the bathroom at night. A couple of things, how do you fix it? A couple of things, if it's a problem and if there's been, again, more frequent falls, maybe a commode, a bedside commode. And a lot of people don't like to use them because, you've got this porta potty, so to speak, at the side of the bed, and then you've got to empty it when you're done. And so that might bring up some objections, but if that's the safest option, if that's one of the things that's going to keep them safe at home versus having to leave their home, then hopefully they would consider that. Add night lights to the bedrooms, the hallways, the bathrooms, use some brighter lights and keep light switches, easy in reach. Consider motion activated lights. All this technology, Alexa, and I know some people like to use those kind of things and some don't, but even the old, the clapping one, if the light switch is a little further away from the bathroom where they need to go, some of those smart plugs, smart technology can make it easier for them to make sure that they get the light turned on as they're getting out of bed, going into the bathroom, rather than having to find their way through the dark halfway to the bathroom to turn the light on. So, pro tip could be check lighting on different times of the day. What's safe at noon might be risky after dark. So just kind of look at it from both perspectives. So hazard number 3 would be unsafe stairs or a lack of handrails. Stairs can be a major fall risk. To me, it's a very sad story. We have a very good friend whose dad had lost his wife. He was living home alone. He was doing okay. He was, a little bit more frail. He had a cat, but he kept the cat litter box down in the basement. And so one day he fell going down the stairs to, take care of the litter box, fractured his hip, and he never came home after that. And that's like everybody's biggest fears, is that story that we hear all the time. You fall, you break a hip, and you never come home. And that can really happen. So, I know by our stairs going down in the basement, sometimes I put my hand on the wall as well as holding on the rail because we don't have 2 rails. And so that might be a consideration as well, is make sure you not only have 1 handrail, but that you have 2 handrails. And I know my mother-in-law really liked her spiral staircase because the staircase, even though it was a little bit more narrow and it might look more hazardous, she really liked it because the rails were close and she could hold on with both hands all the way down the stairs. So she really liked her spiral staircase. And why does this matter? Because even a short staircase can cause a serious injury as a result of a fall. So how do we fix that? Like we talked about, double handrails going down the basement stairs, non-skip treads. We just recently redid the stairs going down, and we've got non-skid strips on the edge of the stairs, as well as a strip that will light up in the dark. So it glows in the dark. And so we try to do those things as we get older to try and make our house as safe as possible for us as well. So you want to keep stairs free of objects. Don't stack things or put things on the stairs, and make sure the top and the bottom steps are well lit. And so another real life tip for that could be, if bedrooms are upstairs, consider if that's still the safest option, or if a move to the main floor makes sense. And sometimes that may not seem practical, but that, again, you have to weigh the risks and the benefits. If aging in place is the most important thing to your aging parents, then if they want to stay in their house, then present it to them. Say, we want to be able to allow you to stay in your home for as long as possible. We know you want to age in place. So can we look at ways that we can make it the safest for you, because we worry about you, being home alone or whatever the situation may be. So try and negotiate, giving them what they want and asking for something in return. And that would be to help make the home safe so they can stay there longer. or as long as safely possible. So hazard number 4 we're going to talk about is bathrooms. Slip hazards. One of our clients spent 30 days in the hospital from a slip in the tub she fractured her ankle. And long story short, it turned in a simple surgery to fix her ankle, turned into pneumonia. It turned into, like I said, a 30-day hospital stay. It turned into several days in ICU on a ventilator. She went into respiratory failure. And so these things can snowball. So the best thing we can do is to prevent them in the first place. And she was done with physical therapy. She was feeling confident, and she skipped some safety steps, and that's what can happen. So like I said, bathrooms are slippery by nature with hard surfaces and lots of moisture. So falls in the bathroom can be especially dangerous, as I just shared with that true story there. So how do we fix these? So installing grab bars in the shower, the tub, next to the toilet. My mom needed, actually, before she moved in with my sister, my mom needed a handrail that we attached to the tub, so that would help her get up off of the toilet even. So even outside of the tub, grab bars can be very effective. Consider a raised toilet seat or a shower chair. If you look at our short clip today, I kind of walked through our house and I talked about 3 of these tips. And I showed in our bathroom when we built our house 20 years ago, we were in our 40s, but we anticipated, this being our forever home. And so when we put a shower in, it's a walk-in shower and it has a built-in seat in it already. It's part of the shower, and we have a handheld shower so that if we need to sit down, we can take a shower, and we have a non-skid mat that we use at the bottom of our shower. So those are some things, just try and use these grab bars and mats and make sure that, they're secured for your loved ones before they, unfortunately, discover that they needed them. So hazard number 5 would be footwear. And that would be, tripping hazards. We've got footwear, we've got pets, personal habits. Sometimes it's the little things like slippery socks, pets getting under your foot, skipping meals. We have a farm, and we have horses, barn cats. A couple years ago, we were down to 1 cat. Well, now we have 12 cats, and these cats don't realize that they're not pets. They think they're pets, but they're barn cats. And so they'll come up on the deck, and if it's time to feed them, you've got 12 cats running around between your legs, and I've tripped and I've stepped on them. So that can easily lead to a fall. So watch out for our pets. Again, wearing socks, those gripper socks are great. Make sure, they have a lot of great slippers now that actually have almost like shoe soles on them. That would be a good, maybe a good gift this Christmas if they're having some tripping or you're worried about them slipping. And, it's the little things. Skipping meals can cause them to maybe feel a little lightheaded, a little dizzy, especially when you're dealing with someone who is a diabetic. So it matters because poor footwear and habits can make even a safe home risky. So how do we fix that? Encourage well-fitting non-slip shoes indoors. Keep pet dishes. One of the slipping hazards we have in our, and I'll talk about it in a minute, our fall prevention guide that we have in our checklist is kicking. I don't know how many times growing up, having dogs in the house all the time, kicking the water dish in the kitchen, for some reason. What does that do? Splashes water on the floor. That's a great place for someone to slip and fall. So maybe putting those things on, one of those like drying mats, or, that they have them for pets as well, but to absorb any of the liquid in case something happens. Keep the pet dishes and the toys out of the walkways if possible. We know the dogs or the cats are going to take them places, but, remind loved ones, eat regular meals, stay hydrated, especially in the summertime. As we aging adults lose their sense of thirst. So sometimes we have to remind them to drink more because they don't feel thirsty. So especially in the summertime, they're at risk for really getting dehydrated. Again, could lead to dizziness and weakness. If your loved one tires easily, place chairs in key spots for rest. So I learned this tip from a therapist that I worked with in the hospital, and it's an energy conservation tip. And what it is if you're short of breath or weak or dizzy, if you have to go from one end of the home to the other, or maybe your bathroom's on one end of the house and your bedroom or your front room or kitchen is on the other end, and you're tired, put chairs strategically placed on the way from one end of the house to the other. So if they need to have a break, they have a place to sit down and rest before they complete walking through the rest of the house. Another thing is a real life tip is review medications with a doctor. Some medications can cause dizziness or weakness if they're on blood pressure medicine and they've had a big weight loss, or if they've had other health changes. They may need an adjustment in their blood pressure medication. It may be too much right now. They may need to hold it or back off on the dose for a while. So a lot of these things that we need to be aware of. So take a few minutes, and wrapping up, take a few minutes this week, to walk through your home or the home of your aging loved one. Check on these 5 hazards and make at least one change. Just, challenge everyone to make one change. Small steps can really make a huge difference. And so if you want our free fall prevention checklist, if I can get that out correctly, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop that link in the comments right now so that you have that. And feel free to fill this out. We just ask you for your email address. You can, if you're not part of our community, it will also get you on our weekly newsletter, Senior Saturday. Really super easy. If it's too much for you, if you're not enjoying it, and every newsletter at the bottom, there's an unsubscribe button. So it's very easy to stop the emails if you need to. But this will get you, this link will get you, I'm going to show it here. This will get you our fall prevention guide. It's our free guide and goes into things a little bit more in depth, and actually has a checklist for each of these areas for you. So it's very easy to take it with you, walk through the house, and then you're all set. So I want to thank you, everyone, for coming to our Tuesday tips. If you have any questions or need personal advice, please drop us a comment or reach out to us anytime. And remember, as a caregiver, we always like to say you're not alone. Let's juggle less and enjoy more together. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for another Tuesday Tips. Take care.